Hello, everyone. Welcome to Woke Without Folgers. This is the debut episode. I apologize for technical delays that caused episode 2 to be uploaded before this episode. But this is episode number 1. All the topics, small businesses that we're shouting out. This is all part of the debut episode. So please forgive uh, the technical difficulties. I do apologize for that. In this debut episode, our political commentary will be evaluating Trump and the potential and upside for the future of his administration. Then we're going to do our small business shout outs, and we're going to go from there. Remember, small business shout outs will be dramatically affected by the audience we get. Once we start getting an audience from other cities, other states, then I can promote small businesses, mainly restaurants, other businesses as well. I'll be able to promote them once you respond with viewership and give me suggestions. But for now, we're focusing on Houston, Texas, whether you're a resident or whether you're visiting. Heck, we are the fourth largest city in America. But what we're going to focus on today is the potential of Trump's presidency. Now, as much as I dislike him as a person, as much as I dislike him as a president, as much as I disagree with him politically, Donald Trump has legitimate potential. With this Dem-controlled House, and still the slim majority he has in the Senate, but it's enough to handle anything that needs a simple majority, 53 to 47. Remember, he has the opportunity to govern for the mainstream. He was elected still by the bulk of the votes came from mainstream Republicans. Yes, the fringe, the nationalists, the isolationists that were reinvigorated by a lot of his campaign promises did vote and came out strong for him in 2016, but it was still mainstream Republican voters, mainstream conservatism that got him in the White House. He needs to remember that. He has to decide. Will he continue to bow or cower or fear the far right fringe, or will he move on from them and govern for the mainstream? There comes a time where you have to take your medicine and accept what comes. And he has to set aside the pundits, the websites, things of that nature, and say, I have to govern for the mainstream. If he governs for the mainstream and reaches out with bipartisan offers, he can be reelected. He can have a successful presidency, and he can have decent approval ratings. Again, you might not like him as a person, but bipartisan governing can help him get reelected. The Democrats just have too many names in the hat. And right now, when you have a strong economy, which Trump has, if he simply shores up his weaknesses like his messaging and his willingness to do bipartisan moves, yes, indeed, Donald Trump can get reelected. Yes, indeed, Donald Trump could see an approval rating hit the 50% range. That's up to him, though. He has to decide when enough is enough and when to set aside the far right fringe and lock arms with the conservative mainstream, and then cross the aisle and do what he has to do with a Democratic controlled House and get things done. Because this shutout will eventually come to a point where it's going to have to be done away with. Period. End of story. Now, one of Trump's weaknesses is messaging. And this is where he needs to be very careful. Right now, mainstream conservative pundits, fringe conservative pundits, fringe websites, mainstream websites are focusing on this main issue of what Obama, Schumer, Hillary Clinton voted for in 2006, a Border Fence Act. And it's leading conservative pundits to say Democrats had no problem with a wall as long as it was pre-Trump. But because it's currently overseen by Trump is why they're rejecting it. So they're going to do their whole Obama supported it before Trump got involved. Hillary supported it before Trump got involved. Schumer supported it before Trump got involved. Listen, first of all, you cable news outlets that have Dems on there, get Dems that know how to respond better to that. Stop having these weak Dems that roll over and just say, kind of let it toss over, then change the subject. You need to attack that point directly. That means pointing out that what Obama and Hillary Clinton voted for back then was completely different from what Trump's bringing up now. And more importantly, if you're going to bring up what that Obama and Hillary Clinton and Chuck Schumer supported something that involved a border fence or any type of border security, why didn't Trump give them credit for that on the campaign? Why don't any of these conservative pundits give them credit for that? Why do they keep saying Dems want open borders while also saying, oh, they supported a wall before Trump wanted it? You can't have it both ways. You can't have the cake and eat it too. Either you give Dems credit for wanting border security and work with them to get something passed, or stop bringing up a lame talking point from 2006. In 2006, Donald Trump was still a limo liberal who worked for NBC and who was still friends with the Clintons. Obviously, things and times change. So if you can accept that change when it comes to getting the president you wanted, someone that could beat Hillary, accept it when it comes to a vote from a completely different piece of legislation, completely different Congress, in a completely different climate, where most of the climate back then was focused on the fallout of the Iraq War and the beginning of a horrible recession. Focus on that. Stop trying to use a gotcha game based on a 2006 vote, but then, on the other hand, still try to say, oh, Democrats support open borders. If you're going to talk about that Obama, Hillary, and Schumer voted for some border fence, then don't blame Obama, Hillary, or Schumer for Kate Steinle or Molly Tiblitz or any other terrible tragedy involving an undocumented individual or an individual who was here in our country illegally. And most important, by the way, if you are a Trump supporter or Trump himself, ask yourself, if you keep on saying Obama wanted it before I got involved, is that really something you want credit for? If you're a Trump supporter, if you're a right-wing pundit, if you're Trump himself, isn't your whole routine you hate Obama? Shouldn't you want the opposite of anything he wants? Why take pride in saying you supported something Obama once supported? And if you're going to say, well, it's because I support border security and keeping people safe, well, Obama also supports better wages. He supports law enforcement reform. He supports gay rights. He supports socialized medicine. So you're going to selectively decide when you agree with Barack Obama. Oh, it's something that fits a racist, xenophobic narrative and a populist narrative, some wall. So yeah, I'll bring up that Obama supported that, but I won't bring up that Obama supports, like I said, socialized medicine, law enforcement reform, gay rights, better workers' rights, things of that nature. If you're gonna tout what you agree with Obama on one end, then you're gonna have to bring up a whole lot of things that Obama agrees with, Obama supports, and no Republican sure as heck is ever going to support any of those things. So stop trying to use a 2006 vote as a gotcha game. Times are different, things are different. Get over it, move on to bipartisan legislation to get this shutout concluded, because people are hurting and it's going to get worse. And again, calling out someone for what they voted for 12 years ago, we can call out all the Republicans that supported an individual mandate for health insurance, all the Republicans that supported, supported a isolationist approach to Iraq, like Dick Cheney did in '94. So bringing up what someone voted for years ago can come back to bite you in the butt if you're not careful. Period. It's time to move on from that. Get things done in the now. You had 2 years to fund a wall. You didn't do it. So it wasn't an emergency then. Don't claim it's an emergency now. What do they call it? Snatching victory out of the jaws of defeat? No. Don't wait until you're a chamber of the Congress down and now say, oh, this is an emergency. Notice he hadn't declared it a national emergency. So obviously it's not an emergency. But again, that's up to Trump. It's up to him to define his legacy. Sometimes the setting aside of pride can do you a whole lot of good. Does he have it in him to do that? Meet the other side halfway, set aside the lunatic fringe, come into the beauty of mainstream governing, and let your poll numbers go up, get your reelection likelihood up, and more importantly, get stuff done for the people. Again, you brag about working for free. Well, you're still working for the people because you're living in the people's White House and you're using taxpayer money for your protection and things of that nature. Work for the people you claim you represent when you ran your populist campaign. Like Trump or not personally, he can do it. He has the opportunity. Does he have the guts? We shall see. The small business I want to shout out today, a few restaurants. Bear with me here, folks. We've got Saints out there in Northwest Houston on Cutten Road, a wonderful place. They do sandwiches, pizza. They even do steak at dinner time. Check out Saints. It's right there in a lovely plaza in the Champions era, Champions area. Excuse me. I'll put all the info in the description box. Also, please check out Clementines on FM 1960, another small, old school banquet hall restaurant. They've been around a long time, but definitely please support them. Listen, when you're on your break, your lunch, excuse me, especially your lunch, and you're away from the office, stay away from Whataburger and Chick-fil-A and Raising Cane's or whatever it's called. Support small business. They are the backbone of America's economy. When you support small business, you're supporting that guy that's going to work there 26 years. That guy that's employing a group of 8, 9 people that you depend on. And you're showing a faceless corporation that they will not dominate. They will not have total control. The entrepreneurial spirit that helped make America what it is in the past is still alive today. And if we as consumers support that entrepreneurial spirit, the rise of small business can be a reality. So please, Saints in Northwest Houston, Clementines on FM 1960, two wonderful restaurants, only one location apiece. Also, check out the Barbeque Inn, a wonderful place on Crosstimbers. They are packed every time. They don't even need my promotion, but I'm glad to give it to them. They've been around 70 years now, 72 years since their 73rd year. Barbeque Inn, Crosstimbers, wonderful steak, wonderful seafood, wonderful array of menu items. Please check them out. Um, We'll have some more small business options to discuss in the third episode, but today I just want to break you off with some evaluation of Trump, the potential he still has, even though I may dislike him as a person and even politically disagree with him. We all have potential when we set aside our partisan ways. Remember Saints, Clementines, Barbeque Inn, all the descriptions and info will be in the description box in terms of phone number and address. I hope you as Houstonian will get to those places if and when you can. Take care. If I don't see you another day, I'll see you in another life.